Hello and welcome everyone to the week ahead commodity report, where we of course will be reviewing the markets for the week ahead. Historically, the second quarter has always been considered to be one of the most lucrative periods of the year for commodity traders, and so far that trend is living up to expectations. Traders are pumping more money into commodities right now than at any other time in the last decade to capitalize on one of the biggest macro themes driving the markets, from rapidly surging global inflation to rate hikes and geopolitical risk, which all combined continue to present savvy traders with an endless flow of back-to-back profitable opportunities to generate huge profits fast. When inflation accelerates at a red-hot pace, so does the price of commodities. That's why it's no surprise that commodities, they are outperforming every other asset class out there. They are on track for the biggest increase on record in over a century. This second quarter, it has been monumental for monetary policy as governments, central banks across the world, they ramp up the fight against scorching inflation, whilst acknowledging that inflationary pressures could persist for years, driven in part by the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, lockdowns in China and soaring energy prices. In the US, inflation is rising at the fastest pace in 41 years. In China and Japan, inflation is shattering records, whilst in many other economies, including the UK, Canada and Europe, inflation is at its highest level in over 30 years and still rapidly accelerating. If inflation continues to surge at this current pace across the world, then we're only months away from a return to double-digit inflation on the same scale last seen in the 1970s. To regain credibility, central banks across the world, they've come under pressure to move more aggressively on rate hikes, which ultimately means stagflation is now a major risk to the economy in the second half of the year, or worse still, a recession. Last week, the Federal Reserve, they executed their biggest interest rate hike in 22 years with a 50 base point increase. This is the first time since 2006 that the Federal Reserve has implemented rate increases at back-to-back meetings as rapidly surging inflationary pressures and the cost of living crisis continues to worsen. Elsewhere, the Bank of England, they also followed in the Fed's footsteps by raising interest rates to their highest level in 13 years. Both the Fed and the Bank of England, they've signaled they will follow up with more aggressive hikes of the same size at their upcoming meetings. Historically, 11 of the last 14 major central bank tightening cycles since World War II have been followed by a recession within 12 months. Will that be the same this time round? Only time will tell. However, one thing we do know for certain is that global equity markets, they tend to lose momentum once central banks begin their tightening cycle. This inversely presents huge bullish tailwinds for the entire commodity sector, ranging from the metals to the energies to soft commodities, as they are viewed as one of the most reliable hedges against economic risk, inflation and recession. And that's exactly what's played out last week, with a number of major global indices nosediving into bear market territory, including the S&P 500 and Nasdaq, which are now down almost 25% this year. With inflation surging at an unstoppable pace and interest rates rising, this economic environment inevitably adds fuel to the supercycle, positioning commodities as one of the most lucrative asset classes for this year, if not this decade. Already within the first 4 months of 2022, a total of 27 commodities, ranging from the metals to the energies to soft commodities, they have tallied up astronomical double to triple digit gains. And this is just the beginning. The previous two super cycles, they took place in the 1970s and the 2000s. In both cases, the commodity sector resembled the identical trend as it's displaying again right now. If history is anything to go by, then the stage is almost certainly set for commodity prices to skyrocket and reach new all-time highs in the months ahead. To quote Goldman Sachs, they've never seen the commodity markets this bullish before. If you've been kicking yourself for missing out on some of the biggest trading opportunities so far this year, and you still want to make 2022 your best year yet, then right now is the time to take action. 2022 is going to be a record-shattering year for commodities, and the first 4 months of this year, they have been a taster of what is yet to come. If you want to take advantage of these extraordinary markets and huge money-making potential on offer, then there's no better time than now. Trust me, these markets, they won't wait for you. Looking ahead, more big moves could be on the horizon next week, with inflation continuing to dominate and drive the markets. The biggest macro event that traders will not want to miss out on, that includes the US consumer price inflation and producer price inflation data. Both readings are expected to top forecast again for another straight month in a row. Also on the radar next week will be a host of Fed speeches. This will be highly scrutinised by traders for fresh clues into the central bank's future monetary policy plans and always have the potential to move the market significantly. Extraordinary times, they do create extraordinary opportunities. Right now, as traders, we are living in some of the most exciting and rewarding times ever in history. So with that, let's move over to the charts and we'll talk you through exactly what we're looking at here as we head into a new week. So crude oil prices up 5.6% in the last week, breaking back out to 1 month highs into Friday's close. So as you know, we remain long 3 positions on crude oil. We've sniped in over the last month, taking advantage of every dip back below $100 per barrel. Both WTI crude oil and Brent crude oil breaking back out to 1 month highs into Friday's close. Gasoline prices are now just on the brink of breaking out above 14-year highs as we head into next week. But not only that, we've also seen natural gas prices up 20% in the last week. Natural gas prices, they have now tripled in 2022. Gold prices too on Friday, they got a bid to the upside, breaking out 0.4% on the day, even with the dollar index, which was elevated and broke out to 20-year highs. In fact, the dollar index reattempted to break out following on from Wednesday's FOMC statement, which essentially meant that we saw many indices, including the S&P 500 and also NASDAQ, drop down significantly into Friday's close. However, this was not the case with commodities, and it was not the case certainly with energies or metals here. We took the opportunity with platinum last week on the impulse move higher that we saw over Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday to lock in 1,350 points profit with our clients at the Gold and Silver Club. So for that calculation, for every 1 lot contract that you'll be trading, that's $13,500 for profit. For every 10 lot contract that you'll be trading, that's $135,000 of profit. This was a trade opportunity that we identified with you previously. Each time we're seeing platinum come back down towards $900 per ounce, we're hitting liquidity, and over the last year, this has been a great buy opportunity to sniper in and accumulate low each time we're revisiting that lower end of the channel. It was no different this time. Yet again, we've been able to build into multiple positions very low and then capitalize on the slingshot move high we've seen on platinum over the last week. Now, also gold is certainly one to have on the radar here. Last week we found support at $1,850 per ounce. We took the opportunity again to sniper in on Friday, in fact ahead of the non-farm payroll data, getting in nice and low. That position moved nicely into profit into Friday's close, with gold closing at $1,882 per ounce. Of course, going into next week, we've got inflation data in the middle of the week. This will create more volatility and yet again more opportunities here on the metals. Essentially, the name of the game right now is being nimble in these markets, being quick to lock in your profits on the fast breakouts that we're seeing. Again, platinum, energies have been a great example of that over the last week here. You need to be nimble and locking in those profits, as very quickly you can see pullbacks when you're hitting key areas of liquidity. Natural gas being a great example of that. After a 20% breakout last week, we saw over a 10% move to the downside on Friday on profit taking. So again, commodities, they don't move up in a straight line, they will zigzag, and your job as a trader is to be fluid and nimble, locking in those profits regularly, which open up so many opportunities to trade the current volatility that we're seeing in this commodity super cycle. As we enter a new economic climate, the importance of having an essential income generating skill like trading has become a must-have necessity. If you want to actually reach your long-term financial goals in these rapidly changing markets, then you can't just stockpile cash in a savings account, because rapidly surging inflation, that will erode your wealth and purchasing power. Instead, you need to make your money work as hard for you as you've worked hard for it. With that said, there's no surprise that commodities, they have firmly positioned themselves as one of the most exciting and liquid asset classes, which continue to present savvy traders with unlimited opportunities to generate huge profits fast. Extraordinary times, they do create extraordinary opportunities. Right now, these markets, they are a trader's paradise. Banks, hedge funds, they're making multi-billions capitalizing on the super cycle, and it's not so different for the retail market. The majority of our clients at the Gold and Silver Club are utilizing our proprietary research-driven trading approach. They've already made in excess of 6 and 7 figures so far this year, and we still have another 8 months left to go. If you've been kicking yourself for missing out on some of the biggest trading opportunities so far this year, and you still want to make 2022 your best year yet, then you still have time if you take action now. We're seeing one of the greatest wealth transfers ever in history. The time to start making money in this commodity super cycle, it is right now. One of the biggest obstacles that holds 95% of retail traders back from achieving their desired success is not having access to professional strategies and institutional level data and market intelligence to make confident decisions with accuracy in these highly profitable markets. If you follow the wrong strategy, or worse still, if you lack access to the right data at the right time, you'll end up wasting lots of time, money and effort and have no results to show for all of your hard work. If you want to thrive and not just survive in these highly macro-driven markets, then you need to adapt and utilize a professional research-driven approach. Having access to the right data at the right time, it is the single greatest difference between ordinary and extraordinary results. Trading like every other misguided retail trader out there, using outdated technical analysis and gimmicky technical indicators, that will not work. As traders, we have a superior advantage to capitalize on every highly lucrative move fast, no matter if the markets trade up, down or sideways. You need to know exactly when to buy and when to sell, but also more importantly, which asset class to focus on and when. The greater your data and intelligence, the greater your edge in navigating these fast moving markets with superior levels of precision, confidence and profitability. We still have another 8 months left to go of this year. Never underestimate what you can achieve in the next few months from now with the right guidance and mentorship. You can always give people the right skills, knowledge and strategies to transform their financial future. One thing you can't give them back is the time they have lost. Time is the most valuable commodity we have. Make sure that you don't waste it. If you want us to help you achieve the same level of wealth and success as our clients at the Gold and Silver Club, then there is an opportunity for you to join our professional mentorship program. Members get access to our exclusive live trading room webinars. You get access to our real-time trade ideas, institutional research and market intelligence, access to our private Members Academy website, and also support and one-to-one mentoring. For more information, just go to www.jointhelivetradingroom.com. The link is also below this report in the description, so just click on the link, make an application, and we will of course get in touch with you ASAP.